This pause is the threshold. Right now, you choose to remain in your old rhythm or to step into a deeper layer of awareness, even if it feels unfamiliar. If you're willing to cross that line, take the next breath with intention. So take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. Allow whatever tension you're carrying to soften, even just a little. We have time. There's nowhere else you need to be right now except here, exploring this invisible territory that's been yours all along. Imagine for a moment that you're a fish born in the deepest part of the ocean. You've spent your entire life surrounded by water. It's above you, below you, flowing through your gills with every breath. Water is so constant, so ever-present, that you don't even notice it anymore. You couldn't describe it if someone asked. It would be like asking you to describe the space between your thoughts. Now imagine someone telling this fish about the ocean. The fish would be confused. What ocean? I don't see any ocean. I just see nothing. Empty space. But the fish isn't swimming through nothing. It's swimming through everything. The ocean is so fundamental to its existence that it's become invisible. This is your relationship with energy. You've been swimming in an ocean of energy since the moment you were conceived. It flows through you, around you, between you and every other living thing. It carries information. It responds to your emotions. It shifts and changes based on your thoughts. And because it's always been there, because you've never known a single moment without it, you stop noticing it. Like the fish who can't see the water. Like the eye that can't see itself. But the ocean doesn't disappear just because the fish forgets to look for it. And your energy field doesn't stop existing just because no one taught you to perceive it. Scientists have a name for part of this ocean. They call it the electromagnetic field. Your heart generates one that extends several feet beyond your body in all directions. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have measured this field with precision instruments. They've watched it change shape based on what you're feeling. They've documented how it interacts with the fields of people nearby. This isn't poetry. This is physics. Measurable, repeatable, documented physics. Long before we had machines sensitive enough to measure invisible forces, ancient civilizations were already describing this energy through lived experience. They noticed a vital current moving through the human body, shaping health, awareness, and emotional state. Every culture had a different word for it, but they were describing the same thing. A living field of energy surrounding and animating human life, unseen. Yet deeply felt. Different names, different languages, different centuries, but they were all describing the same ocean. The question isn't whether this ocean exists. The question is why you were never taught to swim in it consciously. Why you were left to drift on currents you couldn't see, pushed and pulled by forces you didn't know were there. Perhaps it's because a person who understands the ocean becomes difficult to control. They start choosing their own direction. They stop being carried wherever the current wants to take them. But that's not our focus today. Today, we're simply learning to feel the water again, to notice what's been there all along, to remember that you're not walking through empty space. You're swimming through an infinite ocean of energy that responds to your every thought, your every feeling, your every intention. And once you remember that, everything begins to change. Your energy field isn't one thing, it's more like 3 gardens, each growing on a different level of the same mountain. At the base of the mountain, closest to the earth, lies your physical garden. This is where your body lives, the dense, tangible part of you that takes up space in the world. Bones and blood and breath. Cells dividing and dying and being born again. A constant cycle of renewal happening every moment, without your conscious direction. This garden needs tending. It responds to how you move, what you eat, how deeply you breathe, how well you rest. When this garden is flourishing, you feel vital, alive. Your body becomes a willing partner, rather than a reluctant vehicle. When it's neglected, you feel heavy, tired, like you're dragging yourself through days that should feel lighter. Climb higher up the mountain and you'll find your emotional and mental garden. This is where your thoughts bloom and your feelings flow like underground streams, sometimes visible on the surface, sometimes hidden beneath layers of old patterns and forgotten memories. This garden is more delicate than the physical one. It responds not just to what happens to you, but to how you interpret what happens. A single thought can change the entire landscape here. A memory can flood the pathways. An emotion can either nourish everything it touches or poison the soil for weeks. Have you ever noticed how your mood can affect your body? How anxiety tightens your shoulders? How sadness sits heavy in your chest? How joy seems to lift you physically, as if gravity itself has loosened its grip? That's these two gardens talking to each other. What grows in one inevitably affects what grows in the other. And at the highest point of the mountain, where the air is thinnest and the view extends beyond what the eyes can see, lies your spiritual garden. This is the most subtle level, the place where meaning lives, where purpose takes root, where you connect to something larger than your individual story. This garden doesn't care much about the details of your daily life. It's more interested in the big questions, where you connect to something larger than your individual story. This garden doesn't care much about the details of your daily life. It's more interested in the big questions. Why am I here? What truly matters? What continues after this body returns to the earth? When this garden is thriving, you feel a sense of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. A knowing that you're part of something vast and intelligent and fundamentally good. When it's withered, you feel disconnected, adrift, like you're going through motions that have lost their meaning. Here's what's beautiful about these three gardens. They're not separate. They're connected by invisible roots that run deep beneath the soil. What you do in one garden affects the others. Physical exhaustion clouds your thinking. Emotional turmoil manifests as tension in your body. Spiritual disconnection leaves you vulnerable to anxiety and despair. But the reverse is also true. Heal one garden and the others begin to flourish. Find peace in your mind, and your body relaxes. Connect to meaning, and your emotions stabilize. Move your body with intention, and your thoughts become clearer. This is why approaches that only address one level often fail. You can't just think your way to wellness. You can't just exercise your way to peace. You can't just meditate your way to physical health. True energy mastery means tending all three gardens, understanding how they're connected, learning to sense which one needs attention on any given day. Take a moment right now to check in with your gardens. Your physical garden. How does your body feel in this moment? Where is there tension? Where is there ease? Is your breath shallow or deep? Are you holding tightness anywhere without realizing it? Your emotional and mental garden. What's the weather like in your mind right now? Stormy, calm, overcast. What feelings are present beneath the surface, even if you haven't fully acknowledged them? Your spiritual garden. Do you feel connected to something larger than yourself right now? Or do you feel isolated, adrift, uncertain of your place in the larger pattern? There are no wrong answers. This isn't a test. It's simply an invitation to notice what's already there, to become a gentle observer of your own inner landscape, because you can't tend a garden you've never looked at. Imagine a perfectly still pond on a windless morning. The surface is so smooth it looks like glass. Every tree, every cloud, every bird passing overhead is reflected with perfect clarity. Now imagine dropping a single pebble into the center of that pond. Watch what happens. Ripples spread outward from the point of impact, circle after circle expanding toward the edges. The reflection breaks apart. The stillness is disturbed. A single small pebble has affected the entire surface of the pond. Your thoughts are pebbles. Your energy field is the pond. Every thought you think creates ripples that spread through your energy field. Not metaphorically, literally. Scientists have measured the electromagnetic changes that occur in your body when you shift from one thought to another. Your field responds to your mental activity in real time, constantly adjusting its shape and frequency based on what's happening in your mind. And here's what's fascinating. These ripples don't stop at the edge of your body. They keep going. They interact with the energy fields of people around you. They influence the atmosphere of rooms you enter. They leave traces in spaces long after you've left. Have you ever walked into your home and immediately known that an argument had happened while you were gone, even if everything was cleaned up and no one mentioned it? You were sensing ripples, emotional residue left behind in the field of that space. This is why your thoughts matter so much more than you were probably taught. It's not just that positive thinking makes you feel better. It's that your thoughts are actually creating patterns in the invisible ocean around you, patterns that influence what you attract, who you connect with, what opportunities seem to appear or disappear. Think of someone who radiates calm. You know the type. They walk into a chaotic situation, and somehow the chaos settles. People breathe easier around them. Solutions appear that weren't visible before. That person isn't just feeling calm internally. They're broadcasting calm into the field, creating ripples of coherence that other nervous systems can entrain to. Now think of someone who carries anxiety like a cloud around them. They walk into a peaceful room, and within minutes, everyone feels slightly on edge. The conversation becomes more strained. Small problems seem bigger. That's not bad luck. That's their ripples affecting the shared space. You're doing this all the time, every day, in every interaction, with every thought that passes through your mind. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, whether you're choosing the pebbles you drop or just letting whatever is lying around fall into your pond. Most people live their entire lives on autopilot. Their thoughts are reactions to external circumstances. Something happens, a thought arises, a ripple spreads, and they never realize they had any choice in the matter. But there's another way. You can learn to be the one who chooses which pebbles to drop. You can learn to create ripples intentionally, not to manipulate or control, but to contribute something beautiful to the shared field we all swim in. The ancient traditions understood this. They developed practices specifically designed to create coherent, harmonious ripples. When a Buddhist monk chants a mantra, they're not just making sounds. They're dropping very specific pebbles into the pond of their consciousness, creating ripples that have been refined over thousands of years for their harmonizing effect. When a practitioner of Tai Chi moves through their forms, they're not just exercising. They're creating patterns in their energy field that promote flow, balance, and integration. When someone sits in genuine meditation, not just thinking with their eyes closed, but actually resting in awareness itself, the ripples that spread from that stillness can be felt by sensitive people nearby. There's a reason sitting near a true meditator feels different. Their pond is affecting your pond. So here's an invitation, not an instruction, an invitation. For the rest of this day, simply notice your pebbles. When a thought arises, just observe it. Watch what kind of ripple it might create. Don't judge yourself. Don't try to force positive thinking. Just notice. Is this thought creating coherence or chaos? Is it spreading peace or agitation? Is it something I'm choosing or something that's choosing me? This simple act of noticing begins to change everything, not through force, but through awareness. You start to create a small gap between stimulus and response, and in that gap lies all your freedom. There's an orchestra inside your chest, and it's been playing since before you were born. Your heart doesn't just pump blood, it generates rhythm, a constant pulse that organizes your entire body around its beat. Every organ, every cell, every system synchronizes to this central drummer, like musicians in an orchestra following the conductor's lead. But here's what most people never learn. Your heart is also the most powerful electromagnetic generator in your body. The field it produces is measurable up to several feet away, and this field changes its song based on what you're feeling. When you feel gratitude, appreciation, or love, your heart's rhythm becomes smooth and wave-like. Scientists call this coherence. It's a state where all your body's systems begin to harmonize, like an orchestra playing in perfect unison. Your immune system functions better. Your brain thinks more clearly. Your emotions stabilize. When you feel frustration, anxiety, or anger,